Yeah.
There.
I'll see what I'll get
Yeah,
something
well,
together.
that's
And
she does camp, right?
you know, the newspaper will use whatever part of it that they want. I mean, I can't tell them what to print or what to make of it, but I can sure give them all the information.
Radio people here too,
Yeah.
that person,
Yeah.
so I think that would be helpful for us. I know I could.
Well, my personal opinion is that it's a pretty big deal. And I'm happy to have been a part of that, so I think that people just don't know about it.
Okay, and just get it to us, or you can send it to the newspaper.
Yeah, I will send something up to,
You know, write up something on a historical bridge, so
yeah. I can do that.
publicize it a little bit.
Now, we widened it, didn't we?
We couldn't widen that fence.
But we raised the load limit, is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right. We replaced the deck with a lightweight concrete deck and reduced the dead load so that there's more live load carrying capacity on it.
Okay.
Plus, we improved some of the substructure to make it able to carry exactly what the truss will carry, because you load rate a bridge according to its weakest member, and we updated the weaker members underneath, so the truss is pretty strong. In fact, we decided that it didn't need a weight limit sign on it. You had them on there for a while, and I think we took them back off, and it's going to carry everything that it needs to carry out there that's legal, and there was no need to put a weight limit sign on it again.
That's good.
Now, so somebody could come in and say, well, it's not good for 20, it's only good for 17, but anything over 15 has to be looked at, and it can be determined that it doesn't need posting. That's tons that I'm talking about, Mike, on a straight single axle truck. So it's plenty strong now to handle everything that needs to be handled up there. And with that, if you don't have any questions or thoughts or comments,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'll reopen the can of worms on 274. And when I was, my understanding when you was explaining the reason that railing's put there, the guardrail, was to protect the bridge master. So why did we have to wrap? And what was the explanation?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I mean, I can see it, being and protecting.
Exactly.
But the wrapping,
I don't
the wrapping is the whole thing that got us into the.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I looked into that and I had the same questions. The answer basically is a guard fence is a system, and in order for that system to work properly, you have to have enough length of guard fence to develop the strength, and that bridge was close enough that we couldn't get the strength developed before we got to the intersection, so we had to wrap it around.
So because basically the proximity of the
That's
bridge
right.
in proportion to the relationship to
That's
the
right.
intersection.
And the public will have a hard time understanding that mathematically the developing the strength that they need to keep that vehicle in the roadway and not bend it over to the point where it hits that handrail. If you don't have that strength developed through the whole system, hitting it at the design angle, it will force it out and you'll hit that what you're trying to protect anyway. So it isn't one post that is stopping that vehicle from moving that guardrail out. It's a series of posts there, and
I didn't know.
I'd just be repeating myself, but you're absolutely right, and, it looks weird. And I wish that, we could have done something to, make that better. In retrospect, if I had to do over again, I'd rebuild the whole, east part of that intersection. Because you come down a hill and it bends to the west and then it bends back to the east, and we tied in to what was there, it wouldn't have been that much more expensive to keep that straight, bend it over, and rebuild that whole side of the intersection.
Redown the intersection, you're saying, widen, you would have actually widened the
I would have rebuilt the east half of the intersection if I had to do over again. There's always a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're using bridge replacement money for that project, and that includes the guard fence and the approaches. The state has become more and more sensitive to not funding the lengths of road outside of those approaches. So we have to be careful that we don't get into something that we want to do more than just replace the bridge and do what we have to do to replace the bridge, and they find that to be non-participating, and then the client gets to pay for it all. So
They'll always have something in there about that fine print that sets you up for, I understand all that. I figured that was gonna be the answer, or because of the proximity. I just don't think it adds that much strength, because you've already got the holes drilled in the pillars, and they hit it just right, it's gonna break even after you get past the corner. So, I mean, I don't know, I can't really see how much strength it's gonna add, but that's just my opinion. I'm not an engineer.
I don't.
But, so, it's done, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep,
We've got canvas votes.
I understand.
Appreciate you coming up.
and thanks a lot for putting up with me.
You're gonna make it easy to get a hold of it.
You want to put something good about that?
Oh, all right, thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
If he's on, the Wildcats looking,
Oh, we're gonna be good.
we
We
don't.
might not win as many games as we won last year, but we might be better. You know, at the end of the game, anything can happen.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had some nice things happen last year, 10 times.
One back in the last game.
Well, Arkansas was better.
Oh, yes.
Arkansas is a good team.
Well, that was the bowl game.
Bowl game, yeah. And Oklahoma had their way with us too, but otherwise we were right there. We should have beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So, Bill Snyder doesn't want to make himself, you know, in a Topeka paper, there's a sports story almost every day about KU, and never anything about K-State, and that's the way Bill wants it. We'll see you guys.
All right.
Ready to call.
We
Motion.
motion to go into
Yeah.
the canvas room.
I'd like to entertain a motion to canvass the votes for primary 2012 election.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I only printed one, I put it in a book, and I didn't print that paper. But this is the total votes in the three things. This is what was run through the machine, provisional, down here is the advance, which wasn't returned to us, and these are the totals, which totaled out.
How did the provisions, how did they have to work? I mean, did they have to come here to courthouse and to verify if they didn't have an application?
They had to bring
They had to
identification
come down to the court.
to us, yeah. We had two of them that brought their identification in. There was a couple that didn't.
So they don't count.
They don't count.
Right, that's what I thought, okay.
are these the ones that are up on the website? Is that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then once the canvas is done, then I'll replace it with the official one.
What did you come up with on voter turnout?
Huh?
What was your estimate of voter turnout?
It was 20-something.
20-some%?
Well, I don't know, I didn't figure, it was 27, was it 2,700?
Oh, okay.
No, 2,000. It was 10,000. registered
Yeah,
voters.
it's about 20.
What, the Globe said something like 10%, that seemed awfully,
I think probably that was just some precinct, not much, there was some precincts and they don't have that much.
that was Shoes reporting that it was across the whole county, which I thought seemed awfully low. There's 10,000,
There's 2,624.
yeah, that's 20%, that's a little bit more than 10%. It's a little bit above Victor stated estimate about 18%.
These are write-ins.
So we have to go through write-ins as well.
She did that, and here's the provisional. And I have a sheet that tells. We have a lot of them that the election board workers asking to sign declarations, so we made them provisional, so.
Oh, so they were like unaffiliated and
Yeah.
declaring.
So those you do need to count, because
Colleen, how many provisional ballots did you?
it's a shame. Does it say how many provisionals we have?
Provisional,
We had 50 provisionals.
50.
50?
It's like a majority of our voter was undeclared given a provision.
And no problem with voter IDs if they're everything that I thought we would, we had a declaration.
And so it's up to us to determine if we count the provisionals, is that right?
Right.
What are we doing with this, these write-ins that are really hard, we don't think to read them, they're saying right copy.
I'll have to compare, but these won't matter because they have a certain percentage, so they get a certain percentage.
Oh, okay. You better give me some,
Township people, they have to have 5 votes.
I noticed.
Precinct people have to have 3. So I'll have to go through those to be sure that the party is correct.
Write-in for county attorney, White Sox.
Three or three sent people that have fiber miles. So you have to contact all of them.
Well, that was the only thing I thought.
You have to notify all of us.
That you could,
Yeah, I'll send specifics.
inspect it and replace at their expense if there was a.
If they're partying and everything.
I was wondering if
I'll
it's
send
commercial while they
you
look at that,
their electric department.
cause you're gonna be one it ends up with anyway.
Duplicate here.
Yeah, there's two,
They're gonna cut the roads, or these gravel roads. They're
yeah,
gravel
we have,
roads,
you have to
okay.
have two people.
They're all gravel roads, there's
Yeah.
just one that trends across
And
here.
a review board.
Oh,
And then also
okay.
there's one, some right
So
of way.
there's two copies of each one of these.
Yeah.
Easement.
Yeah, one read is.
And that's all I got, is that. I mean, it's very vague.
Oh, okay.
I know Jerry was a Democrat, so probably.
Yeah, there's some of these right things.
They have one or two
Got to
people out
get
there
it
on
right, man.
the property.
I think they have
They
bills.
want to use oil ditch.
Would be fun if you got enough of it.
Yeah.
And this goes,
Yeah.
this will go with the resolution.
Oh, so this is a summary of all these. Oh, okay. You already read these? You already-
I've read them,
Yeah,
yeah, you want to go through one, we just read it up.
I'm fine with the summary, if that's all. Yeah. Approved. First one, primary election registered voter requested, received different party ballot than the one registered for.
What that was is they were declared a party, and they wanted to vote the other party. It wasn't that, the election worker gave them the wrong ballot. They just.
They declared.
They wanted to vote a different ballot, which.
Can you do that? I know you can, if
You
you're
do it,
independent.
but you do it in as a provisional, so it doesn't
Okay.
really count because they're declared a different party. That's why you have to do the provisional.
Registered voter returned ballot after polls were closed.
Next, two advance ballots that came in after the election. They came in on Wednesday. With the mail. Oh, Thursday, there was 2 days that they came in late.
They don't go on a postmark.
Mm-mm. Maybe eventually they will, they should,
Voter was sent advance, was returned undeliverable, did not want to vote, and unable to vote.
I'll hand you that when you go. Thank you.
to be registered by a certain date to be able to vote, yeah, so those obviously wouldn't count. Voter in county fails to provide ID, so we had 3 people that didn't have ID to. The voter fails to provide ID at time of voting, and you're saying count yes.
I think it's different. There was probably 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them brought their IDs in, so. Can't provided IDs prior to canvassing. So these 2 provided and these appear to not.
So, if you don't have your ID when you vote,
It goes into provisional ballot, and you have up until the day
well, you can still vote without ID? I thought you couldn't vote at all.
provisional.
It's provisional, you can vote.
It's a
Yeah.
provisional, but
You
they
have
have
to
to bring me
bring
the ID prior to election, the canvas.
There was a lady in the school that had, she brought her ID, declared voted in this.
I didn't know, you can do provisional, I just assumed that it was, you had to have voter ID, otherwise you couldn't vote at all.
You can do provisional, but it goes into an envelope and they have to bring it.
Okay, so then people have to come back, provide the ID.
Yeah, they had to go here, so they had to go to the courthouse to do it.
Oh, okay, okay. So these 18 voter was undeclared, given a provisional. What's up with those 18?
They were undeclared and then they got confused, so they,
Because they have to declare, so I assume
they
they're.
either have to declare Democrat or have to declare Republican and sign a card. And when they, instead of putting it through the machine, they put it in a provisional ballot. So all of those should be, you should be able to.
Be able to count.
Be able to count those,
Should be,
yeah.
And there's one on there that, there might be more than one where they voted at the wrong. They had moved and they voted at their old precinct instead of going to the new one. So you can count everything but a precinct person. Everything else should be the same one.
So it looks like the voter ID didn't really pose any issues in the
Hmm?
primary. Not having voter ID really wasn't, it was a non-issue for,
This is something I'm worried about, because, you know, first time.
Well, apparently, well, less than one for me.
yeah, that's very some fractional. Was it five total?
Like total, He
Yeah.
brought theirs in.
What's this first, they're just,
It's just the percent that,
okay.
yeah.
I didn't know whether it had anything to do with, maybe it's only one person, or whether that means 100% of people voting. It breaks it down in terms of, okay, the votes, they got 100%, and then like, oh, okay.
This doesn't include the additional staff that,
Right. So, there's not the big deal.
the advance that didn't come back, I mean, we sent them out, but, you know, that's what it's on. These are just people that ran through the machine. And it's like precinct. Full precinct.
Yeah. You know what other counties around us did as far as,
Vote total?
yeah, like vote turnout?
Why not?
Okay.
32 maybe in Brown?
Percent.
Yeah.
Well, they had commissioner races were
True.
drew out.
Yeah.
And
I wanna say,
still
I wanna
on.
say in Brown and Downton there are 30s, or
Okay.
low 30s, if I'm remembering right.
I know that the Secretary of State estimated about 18% before going in, so we were above average at 20% of voter turnout.
That summer she was 18, actually, well, Teddy John's provision was 18.7, but the actual breakdown, we would be at 20 by the provisions.
Oh, there was something I thought it was 20%.
Well, that included the provisional
Oh,
and,
okay.
minor.
If you,
The
and
2000
if you count
yeah.
the provisions, would be at 20%.
the
Yeah.
38 that, of the advance that were not,
But what actually counted was still 18, if you didn't count anything.
Yeah.
It's 18.
pretty close to the same.
Yeah. We're just average.
We did have a big turnout for their district commissioner race, the Republicans.
Better turnout than
Mhm.
the place.
Excuse me.
So I wanted to motion for professionals and most of the votes.
You ready for that?
Not ready, but I'll wait for that.
You know, I haven't seen if you got them. Then if you guys look at it too, it's good. It's all I need to do is.
Yeah, there's no, I'll, move that we, declare the, election valid. And what else do we need to say about that?
Do we need to-
You need to say about the
We
provisional.
need to declare which one of those are acceptable.
Yeah, resignation, or,
So include, was undeclared given a provisional,
yeah,
voted at wrong polling place, registered voter at a different name due to marriage or change of address, voter failed to provide ID at time of voting, and voters were registered and voted in incorrect precinct. Those are the provisions that we.
Thirty-three provisions will be declared, okay?
okay.
Is that what your time is? Okay. I would second the motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. And then make a motion to go back in.
Okay,
We
motion.
would go back into the regular commission session.
Have a second.
I'll take it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Man, yeah, of course.
We'll go over the budget before I forget. time today, the county lake people are bringing in 2 or 3 bids on the mower, plus they're supposed to have, apparently, somebody who's willing to, if we take their bid, they're gonna bring some agreement that we can right now, and take the first year, the agreement for us to look at.
So, do they have budget though this year too?
What's that? Well, that's,
They have a
we can
budget.
fit it, if, no, if we can purchase it, no payment till first year. The agreement is there. If they're, he has 2 or 3 other bids on
Some different vendors?
representing
Different,
that
yeah.
high offer, it's gotta be in place to be kind of a no interest payment, like implemented and things like that. So, I guess they do it fairly often, so. She called me today and she was saying, hey, if we bring it all in later today, we'll either Tuesday or Wednesday, we can look at that.
Did you get some firm members? You were just get some.
Yeah, I got a little housekeeping. I got a new, St. Joe tractor. We had taken our mowing tractor up there for, what we thought was a transmission leak, and it ended up being a, hydraulic goes on top of the transmission, so it wasn't nearly as expensive as I thought. It ended up being $1,262.16. If it would have been a transmission, it would have been a lot more than that. So I was happy with that. They fixed the hose, and then there was another plug on top of the transmission that had pushed out.
Did you see Lynn?
I didn't, I got this,
Yeah, I just looked it up, just to lose it.
at least I got this.
Not yet. Well, we might grab it or something. So we can designate, yeah, yeah.
Do you think one?
Yeah, we'll have to do backups too, so if I can't. Bring it through some budget stuff and then just, if you make a motion.
Yeah, so I talked with Pat, Rural Water District 5 sent me a letter. They were requesting some, easement for a water line. I give it to Pat.
They really weren't quite as specific as we'd like them to be, so we'll get that clarified from them. Along the same lines, we had talked about a water easement for Muskota. They did return to me our proposed easement, so I would ask them for, I guess I don't have a request, but I would submit to you for approval. This is for them to go south of town.
Along Birmingham.
I think you said something about you put in there that they were going to, you added something in terms of if ever they, had to
Gene Heiger with, Foley got back with me on the cat grader, which are the numbers, I broke it down there at the top of the page. And I'm sorry, I put, down underneath that, it says Foley, that should say Murphy tractor for a deer. And I took that off of Jefferson County's last bid, is how I got that.
So we didn't get an actual bid from,
No, I didn't get it, this is the numbers they provided for me, Murphy, that was off of Jefferson County bid. I called up Jefferson County and had them send me the numbers on that. But, the CAD, that isn't an actual bid, that's just for budgeting purposes. Should be fairly low. Looks to me like the farther out you go, actually the better deal you're getting. It's costing you less per year.
It's a Foley for 7 years. Is that what that means?
I've missed, it should be Murphy there. I put Foley, it should be Murphy.
Yeah, okay. So what's the put there, it's really the same, what you're saying, if you go to 10-year, the guaranteed buyback is $82,000.
Yes.
That's what that line, that first
Yes.
column is the buyback.
Right.
But we still have to come up with $235,000 up front.
Right. Unless you finance it. Yeah, because basically the piece of equipment that we have now is, there's very little trade-in. Well, they don't even want to trade it in. I'm gonna estimate we would get around 15 out of the piece of machinery you have now.
Like
On our champion grader. Purple wave, yeah.
well, it looks like when you go from the 5 to 7 year, it's about 20% drop in value. If you go from 7 to 10, it drops down to 30%. So really, your 7%, well, for your 7 year, would probably kind of maxing it out on.
This, now, does that include 10-year maintenance?
I know on this, Murphy bid, that included the full, maintenance and guarantee on the machine.
But that was a 7 year.
Right, right. You know, I'm not sure if CAT included that in there or not. Without really bidding it, they're not gonna give you a concrete number. These were just, like, so for budgeting, just to give us an idea. I'm sure they don't really wanna, unless we bid it, give away exactly what.
typically, yeah, they don't want their figures out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big drop in value going from 7 to 10.
There's no buyback on the excavator. They don't offer that. The grader's the only thing they offer that program on.
piece of equipment that you want to replace, grader, dump truck, or probably pretty critical.
Yeah, there.
Especially the dump trucks, I know we've seen those.
Yeah, the dump truck,
You get probably the most use, probably.
I would put the dump truck on top of the list. Grader's important, but right now, dump truck is,
Mm-hmm.
I would put it as a top priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, I couldn't find any, government bids on dump truck right now.
Okay.
I did look.
So 150 should about an estimate of what?
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty close based on what Riley County told me out there, they paid for that Kenwood, it was a pretty big one.
Mhm.
So,
Was it 800 or, you know?
I don't know, it would fill your shop up out there. I mean, it looked pretty big even in their shop, so.
Yeah, I think the last time, I think they had the same thing as that Kenworth we had, which is a T800, I believe they had.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any capped outlay budget, do you?
Well, I haven't.
No, what I mean is, I just look at it and see whether you had anything set in there that we get voted on.
Special machinery, that's like one, that's a capital improvement.
But yeah, we have, I think right around 25 in
Yeah.
special machinery.
The reason why we have that fund separate, we can't do.
We talked about that the last time, well, I guess Pauline wasn't here when we talked about that.
What?
It's the reason why that special machinery, why we just don't have like one capital improvement fund.
It's by statute that any money left over in the reserve fund can be moved over into the special machinery and equipment fund.
Well, yeah, but, if they have a capital improvement fund,
Well, the special machinery is non-budgeted, so you don't have to budget it every year. If you keep it in your road and bridge, you have to budget that every year.
yeah, but if you put it in a capital improvement, I'm just asking, it's basically like a capital improvement fund.
Special machinery is.
Yeah,
But it's non-budgeted, so it's always there, and you can use it anytime.
yeah, that's all. Capital improvement.
Well, that don't, 25,000 don't go very far.
No, I agree. It's a big chunk to drop in 1 year, but it's been nice over time to
Well, but I
have something built up.
think you asked us to give you some guidelines to our recommendations as to
Right.
if we were cutting, you know, where we recommend cutting.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my recommendation was to put the bridge, I'm going like Jeff, and I hate to see it, but, you know, that bridge at Huron, it's probably gonna end up costing $492,000 when it's all said and done by the time you get engineering, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And we pretty well know that River Road, we've got it, you know, we're gonna lose 57,000, we better go ahead and get that, get that done. I think the question is how much of this, is there any of this that we wanna put on a longer term, debt, you know, so that we can keep the, we should gain a little bit in terms of increased valuation, but at the same token, there are other areas that we're having to add to too. Rather, to spread it out is the question.
Yeah.
You mean like the
Really?
equipment just kind of spreading out the wish?
Well, I think the question is do we spread out the River Road project, or do we spread out any of the capital? I'd hate to spread it out very far, because we, you know, a couple of these things we probably should have been doing, you know, probably a little sooner, so, we probably ought to go ahead and absorb some of that, so we don't have too much, you know, stuff pushed into our longer term, indebtedness. I think it's just a matter of prioritizing here and deciding, I think we talked briefly about, and I think you've done this before, is, you know, I know your goal is to do 40 miles chip and seal, and if we cut back to 30, you know, we've cut 100-some thousand off of that pretty fast.
Well, the only thing is, I shoot for 40 miles a year and I've been getting 30, so if you cut that back to 30, I'm gonna be about 20. So what's gonna happen?
Yeah, but you had budgeted for 40.
I know, but that, there's always things that come up, bridge projects and things, and usually it has to come from somewhere, and that's usually, if nothing comes up, yeah, you're right. But, if something comes up,
Well, here again,
we'll have to use some money somewhere.
we're back here to prioritize, and I mean, how much can we actually, you know, are we gonna prioritize that? And this is the thing that we're getting into. If these hard surface roads are gonna be, you know, cost us that much and stuff, we have to take a look at how much more we're gonna add.
Yeah, if you go stretching out the maintenance on those things, you're gonna get some roads that's gonna be in bad shape before you get around to them.
Right now, if we do 40 miles a year, we've got, so everything would be sealed on the 4th year. We cut that back, you know, go to.
Well, how many did you do this year?
Right at 30.
What roads are scheduled to be chip and sealed?
Well, usually what I do is after the winter, I'll go and look at everything. I've kind of got a rotation, but I'll go look and see what's breaking up. Right now, I would like to do 286, pretty much from Lancaster all the way to out in the west end of the county, out to Edwards. That's one of the main ones I want to do next year.
What about Atchison, Lancaster?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So like the whole,
Yeah.
all the way.
Yeah. That I want to do, I was actually planning on doing 73 south of Atchison this year, and I didn't get that done, so that'll be on my priority list for next year.
Sure.
Yeah.
So both of those roads for 2013.
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty well used.
Yeah.
Question on both of those roads, somewhat related. Do we have leeway to like widen those out, like about a foot on each side, or because both of those that you're mentioning sometimes are, well, especially 286 has always been a little bit on the narrow side.
It would cost quite a bit to, that isn't figured in there, that's just, you know.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we budgeted in for it, I'm just saying.
The only thing we do is take the lay down machine out there and, you know,
most requests for paved stripes on that.
Yeah, I've
road.
heard that also.
It's a pretty well traveled road. I think what it is, like, at night, I think it's
Mhm.
hard to see. 'Cause I always hear that road is the most repulsive for getting stuff paved.
Yeah, I've heard that also.
Not necessarily the passing lanes, but at least, at the very least, barrier so like you can see it like, edge of the road.
Side lines, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that also.
Big questions.
No, I just had a comment, I sure wouldn't, postpone doing the River Road, I'd get that thing finished up next year.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people, not even,
I wouldn't cut that, no,
People-
yeah.
use that road up there, and, they want it fixed.
We have an opportunity to do it right, you know, I think we actually have the opportunity to put enough base down and fix it the right way. So I think that ends up costing you a long run, you know, having to repair it over multiple years instead of just putting down the right amount the first time. Yeah. The equipment, I'm still not sure about. I think dump truck and grader is probably like,
Well, you know, I think,
Good priorities.
to me, you know, if you think the dump truck is important, I have no problem plugging that in, cause that fits me into where I'd like to be on a road. My question is, I think our discussion needs to be is if you think it's more of a priority to, chip and seal as much as you can, then let's put as much there as we can and hold off on the grader till next year, because, you know, barring some, you know, if we're only get $15,000 out of that grader,
Yeah,
I'm not for sure that we're gonna, you know, what I'm saying is we're gonna just stretch it a little further, and then because if we get, you know, I guess that's my thinking. And then on your, you know, I just had some goals, and I thought that, you know, you discussed this, is that your, dozer operator is willing to work part-time, that'd be less than half a position, so we really wouldn't fill that. And the one person that's retiring that you thought, well, you may not, I just reevaluate that come spring, if you think that even our part-time people would help during the summer, if you don't fill that, that would save us, probably save us over $30,000 on, and get us down to $500,000, wages, and then if we could lower commodities down to where we were in the last few years, but that's commodities is considered part of the chip and seal, but, I'll have to refigure that a little bit, but I had that figured at that fit at 1.5. But then River Road's gonna be $176,000. Do your full chip and seal is another 170.
so on the equipment, you're looking at, just the dump truck?
Well, if we're gonna kinda keep, in my opinion, and I'm only the one commissioner, I think we gotta prorate this out a little bit, I mean, I hate to procrastinate too much, but I have no idea what next year's even gonna bring, what's gonna happen down in the state legislature, but, I'd like to help you out. To me, the dump truck, from what we've seen on the tour, and actually knowing, even though we got 2 or 3 other decent ones, knowing that they're not, you got 2 of the Sterlings, don't you?
We got 3 Sterlings.
3 Sterlings, and that they're not gonna be making
the capital outlay is kind of a glaring problem without anything, just a number. What if we put 300,000 capital outlay on there? So we're not dispersing it, we're not taking a hit this year, or say if the grader goes out in 2013 or 14 replacement.
Well, let's just do it with Kevin here. But are you guys thinking then on the, chip and seal doing the full amount? I'd budgeted back 30 miles.
If,
How many miles is that 286 and Sherman Road total? Is that 30 like building in leeway for like a couple of other roads up there in bad shape?
yeah, those are just the ones on my hard cover list. There was several others I was going to else.
I think those two roads are probably pretty critical. I don't know what the base is underneath. Well, they're both old highways.
Yeah.
They definitely get a pretty good use of traffic. Outside of those, I don't know what else you.
I would say 286 is probably the most used road in the county.
So those two roads combined probably about how many miles?
Let's see. Two 286 would be around 12 miles. And then also I was gonna do, Edwards from Effingham to the county line, that's 7 miles.
Okay.
And then Sherman is lower 5.
So 24 or.
Is the chip and seal on 274 from Paradise Lake Road over to Highway 9, is that already approved?
It's been approved, it's not really budgeted for, it's just gonna be extra.
I would like to see, I mean, if we're gonna do this other week, I think we can put that to be on hold. I think what you're gonna get into is you go do that, and then we're gonna wanna start, somebody's gonna want the whole road. And they don't have that far to go to get on the blacktop.
Yeah.
From there.
Yeah, kind of,
Yeah,
I've already promised a lot of people that's gonna happen, but,
we're thinking.
okay, that's fine.
Which one? What's it?
274, the little section from 9 Highway to, Greeley, that, we told them after we built the new bridge, we would put that chip and seal.
That's on Township Road, yeah.
Our road.
It's our road, it's just a matter of they're one, I mean, they got the blacktop road on Greeley all the way up to the other one, now they're wanting total blacktop over to the other one. But I'm not saying we won't eventually do it, but I think with what we've got going now, I think we put 2 new bridges there on the road for them, and we've chipped and sealed there. But other than that, I think that we'll put it on hold. I wouldn't cancel it, but I'd just put it on hold.
Yeah. Yeah, that was basically an unbudgeted deal, so.
In years of surplus, or if they wanna take up donations, we'll start, so. Well, that,
What I was gonna bring up, if you're wanting to spread out the capital outlay,
well, we got, yeah, go ahead.
well, I was gonna bring up the financing. You know, instead of taking the whole hit, if you wanted to spread it out, you can always look at financing.
I'm just one, but my preference is when you get an amount like that, like 230,000, if you have a good capital outlay, you just finance the same way with like this elevator project, you know, where all that's just my personal opinion. I like to have a capital outlay, you just do it and save your financing for like big projects. That's just the way I prefer to do it, unless it's a major, you're talking about like a lot of different pieces of equipment.
Well, I think there's not much doubt we're gonna have to maybe go back and revisit some of these budgets. I mean, we probably have to republish here when it's all said and done, because we got 2 or 3 capital outlay projects seems to be a logical, approach on that. And,
The roads is a good question, because you get to see some of those degrade, I know it costs.
yeah, but here again, I mean, it does make a pretty efficient use of your labor during something, you know, and stuff. If you cut back to 30, then that's a fourth less time, you know, for there, so they got.
With 30 miles, if we suggested 30 miles, how's that?
Like I said,
They cover your main roads that you wanna do, it might be a little leeway in case there's a bad spot or something.
the only thing I would worry about is, I budgeted for 40 miles last year.
Uh-huh.
That was what was in the budget, and I could only afford to do 30 miles this year. That extra 10 miles is things that came out of my budget for the couple bridge projects that wasn't, budgeted for. The historical bridge, you know, we didn't budget for that. We didn't budget for the two bridges on 274, those were actual projects that came up. If something would come up, the only thing I would be afraid of is if we budgeted for 30, then it would, if something else came up, I would have to take money out of that, we wouldn't get our 30 miles done.
Well, of course, unless we have a major bridge thing.
The only thing that's right now that could come up would be the river, if we would happen to get the River Road project. Or if we would happen to get
Are we getting some grant, I mean, there's some grant?
yeah, it'd be a 80-20 match. We would pay 20%.
That will not count against our record on the other, or not?
This is a separate program.
So we're still gonna get eligible.
We need a budget for that too, right?
Well,
Is that
I don't
better?
know if we'll get it or not.
Well, if we get it, then we better budget. If we're talking
See,
about, we
that's-
did budget for.
In the years before, we never
Couple
did budgets, and we would just draw money out of our,
That's how you get into budget issues, if you don't budget. I mean, just in case we do get that, we better.
also, I've turned in for a grant up in the county lake to replace a bridge, and I don't know yet whether we'll get that. That's not budgeted for also.
So if we get those bridges, we could be looking at close to 2.9, between 2.7 and 2.9. Just not how much they cost in the past.
Like in the past, whenever we did get, one of those bridges, we would just take it out of our commodities, and that's why this year we only got, basically I give up 10 miles of chip seal to pay for those projects.
We can't use capital outlay for bridge. Is that right?
That's all.
We can't use capital outlay funds for bridges, correct?
I'm not sure.
And you're bidding out gas, diesel, you're gonna bid out as many things.
Yeah, I'll bid out everything I can.
If you want, there's probably other counties that are doing that, you could probably, see what everybody else puts out for RFPs.
Yeah. Y'all for sure do the gas and diesel and, asphalt. And I always did the big quantities of culverts. So, and I guess, we can talk more about it if we wanna bid the rock.
Yeah, there's a resolution.
Yeah, Pat sent that to me.
Yeah. If I suggest maybe look at rescinding that, or I think it's just, it's outdated.
Even if it rescinded, I still would like, when we got 3 quarries, we need to sit down and visit with all of them,
Mhm.
and just say, listen,
Get a set price on,
we're
we
willing.
could get a set price on the rock, because the only thing, if say Gary Service, we would bid it, and he would win the bid. But then we have to haul rock clear to the southern part of the county, we're not, it'll cost us in diesel fuel, we wouldn't really be saving anything.
Yeah, and if you have to go out of county to get rock, boy, you're, generate a lot of expense there.
So
So
if we
I
can
would leave
talk-
that resolution as it is, I wouldn't.
But it hamstrings you on two. If we have a third quarry, then according to that resolution, and it's about auto, there's two in there
Because
about auto parts.
all employees in the county, doesn't it?
It
The way
says
it
divided
is,
evenly.
I can't remember exactly how it's worded.
I think it does, I think it does say
All employees in the county.
So if we could
Go out
at
of
least get the
county.
quarries to agree on a set.
We're not saying we're going out of county, but in this case, you know, we're talking about putting down haydite. There's nobody in the county that, do you see the problem with the haydite? There's nobody in the county that produces it. So I'm just saying, like, it hamstrings us. to
Well,
be
we're
able-
talking about rock or,
Well, haydite is essentially a rock. I mean, you're essentially talking about a surface.
well, if they don't, supply it, in the county, well, then you'll have to,
You know, the resolution would apply if it's not the kind of rock that you got, I mean, your hands aren't tied necessarily, but, no, I would be cautious, I understand the thinking, but I'd be cautious about, I hate to have my hands tied, but I mean, I still wouldn't want to negotiate or work with the guy, you know, with whatever quarries within the county, I'm sure give them fair and equal opportunity to bid with the idea that let them agree and say, hey, listen, see what you guys work together, and we're gonna, if we got two, we'll buy half, if you'll, give us a little better price, well, you guys get half, and you guys will get half. And if the third one ever develops, then we'll just have to sit down and talk with him. We haven't heard a thing on that for a while.
No,
But as I read, we just got two, right?
right now, yes.
So that's.
I don't know if we could, I guess we could bid it, and whoever got low bid, we could, is there such thing, we could tell the other two quarries if you want us to supply, if you wanna match this bid, then we could,
Yeah, you do defeat your purpose, I'd just assume, if you think about leaving the resolution in place, just go negotiate with both, just talk to both of them, say, hey, listen, you know, we're thinking about buying this much volume of rock, you know, your options are, let's work together, and you'll get 50% if, otherwise we may rescind the resolution. I mean, I would take, to me, that'd be the first approach I'd take, and I don't know that you're gonna get more than 50 cents a ton, but, you know, that's 5%. So, I mean, I don't wanna beat them in the ground, but, at the same token, when they know that we're gonna take pretty good volume out, I think, you know, so.
Yeah, you probably know about average what you go through in tonnage.
yeah, that would be hard to, I don't know, we're off the top of my head.
No, but we could probably
It's
get
on
an
the
average.
computer, yeah.
Well, I could buy leaving the 40 miles in with the idea that if we happen to have a bridge project or something come up, why, then we may have to steal a little bit from there.
Right.
That's the only problem I hate about getting into those grants. I mean, it's, you don't know. I hate to budget too much and have that money, of course, we can, carry it over, but I just hate to have too much money sitting there idle per se that we don't absolutely need.
And that's basically why I didn't put it in the budget.
You know, biggest proposed chunk would be just that. Contractual, put your contractual down, we keep our labor down, what we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna save a little bit, but not, it's not the big part there.
Yeah, our purchase line isn't kept well, it's, the, you know, the contractual, put your contractual down, we keep our labor down, what we're talking.
forget the,
You can have that resolution number.
no, I thought I had it. I was feeling pretty good about fuel prices, but they're starting to creep back up again.
Yeah, I still think you're okay.
1053.
Well, the meat of, you would ask what it requires, the meat of the resolution is that the road supervisor shall cause purchases of rock to be divided as equally as practicable among the quarries doing business in Atchison County. And then it says, subject to the quarries operating equal prices and providing necessary loading equipment.
It does say equal price in there.
It does say equal price. So, it's not really exactly how we're doing it now, we more or less figured where you need it. I mean, I don't think we want to drive it 20 miles.
Well, basically right now, if we need rock in the southern part of the county, we're buying it. Down south, if we need it anywhere else, we're buying it from here.
When that was done, was it, they from?
I actually asked, I asked, Terry about that, and she said that, one of the suppliers didn't think the county was buying equal share from him, and they came up and complained, and that's when they just passed that resolution. And I don't know, does it say what year that was passed?
Well, before I came on, it was between 86
Al
and
Tickman signed
87,
it.
so.
It's the only one on there that doesn't have a date, but the one before it was September 5, 1986, and the one after is April 17, 1987, so between September 86 and April 87.
I think it came about because, one of the quarries was supplying that brown looking rock, and, the county wasn't using that rock because they was claiming it was not as good a rock, and the county did some testing on it, found out it was just as good. People just didn't like the color of it, it looked like, when it got wet, it looked like mud. And I believe that's when they passed it.
I think it was before that even.
You think?
But that, remember, Charlie, Charlie Service Command,
That was you.
started his bad gold quarry
Yeah.
back down there. And
I should have.
Bain, it was,
I'm just cutting 10% out of the fuel and stuff.
Okay, well, then
here's
we'll-
the brown.
This is the wrong road project.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought it wasn't as good, too.
Mhm.
Well, Bob Jackson thought it wasn't as good, but we had it tested and it
So it was,
was.
right.
300 more than before last year, which it has been going down, yes. It'll be more than, less than the average percentage, but there hasn't been any actual improvements in this. I think this is what you gotta figure out is how much of this you add to that, because this was my original goal, and that's,
I almost looked at it.
can't.
That rock seems to
I'd
create,
say 2.6 max.
More than
That would be max, I was thinking,
I think that's what we saw, 234
Yeah.
last.
I think it.
That was, we had to use it because that was the flood, and
Yeah.
we couldn't get to the quarry, and that was the only quarry around that was producing.
Yeah.
So he went down and made some just for us, so we could use that. And it,
But then maybe it'll come
it
back.
probably isn't much, but
does have some doubles,
See where they.
but it seemed like it took
Took a long time, yeah.
Sherman Road, you guys built up something along the side of the road, or?
Oh, we shaved the shoulders down. The shoulders were, over time, they built up, and we took our grader down there and shaved all the shoulders down so the water could run off the
It
roads.
looks like there's some riprap or something.
Yeah, we got some work around down there. Just kind of maintenance on it.
Yeah, yeah, that
Twenty-four.
water was standing pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running down the roads.
Saw a big old rattlesnake there
Two foot corners.
on the north side of the bridge. So for most of the lane on
Just recently.
few weeks
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
In other words, that would change the way.
Yeah.
Did you get everything you needed?
Bill, I have responses from 4 people that confirmed we said on Monday, for the mandatory walkthrough.
You sent that to, RSP and.
RSPs and
I just wanna make sure, cause I promised them that they'd be.
and I got in contact with Judy, she's the one that confirmed, and, yeah, that they'll be there Monday.
What time is it?
9 a.m. Hopefully, I'm planning on being a patrol facility, so we see the CND, because I had questions about CND, and if that's any part of the contract, it more than likely is trash recycling, but, you know, if they see our setup, they'll kind of understand what services we're looking for, that maybe will take,
Yeah, whatever
I
time.
don't know.
That's just.
20, 30 minutes ahead of it. And then what I might do
I
is
just
have
put big.
them all come over, probably in that room, they can
Q&A.
Q&A.
What do you think of the budget?
So far, Devin Watson,
We're just tossing around and working.
they were the ones that were asking for all that information. Waste management, pretty much.
Some of it going against
Well, this week, their current
So-
contract.
labor.
The guy before he opened that, RFP, he called me. He said, what's this for? He said, our contract was good through 2014.
If that be
Mhm.
Well, no, he thought they had another year than what they did. I said, no, that was, if we wanted to extend it. And he was under the impression that, I think that it was good until then. I said, no, that's only if we wanted to extend it. But, yeah, he thought it was good. I guess he thought it was good through 2015. I think that's what he thought.
Yeah.
No,
So
2014.
that would be in the.
That would be the end.
But it has,
Saves some
renewed,
money.
we renew it every year, on a yearly basis, so, well, hopefully, they have confirmed that they received it.
Well, he started asking a bunch of questions. I said, have you looked at the RFP yet? He goes, no. I said, well, you might read it. It says you're supposed to actually be talking to Chase about this, but he hadn't even opened it. He just called me up. He hadn't even opened it yet.
Hopefully, if they have any questions, I can
Appreciate you.
save everything that you said, so if they need
Well,
any
they
public
really
records,
doubt that we
they
have to have.
can contact me next week so that they have some fresh knowledge of what we're doing.
This will,
And, so they come to
set a new
pretty good
benchmark.
meeting.
We do it the last 3 years.
You say you've had four responses?
It doesn't keep
Mhm.
people in capital.
Just
RSP,
Start.
waste management.
Yeah, I think, because we don't know what we're.
Actually, no, the LJ and I sent out to waste from Kansas City, but I don't think that they have a materials recovery facility, so I
I think
don't
it's
think
worth
we
that.
use the industry recycling. But they actually contacted me back, as far as, yes, they'd be interested in receiving an RFP, they'll look at it. And they'll probably get back to me today or tomorrow, and say, yeah, whatever. So far, that's
if we do have anything carried over from this year, that would go into the special machinery then.
Yeah.
So we would end up having, if we would end up having some excess this year, then we could look at maybe buying a piece of equipment if we had that much, for possibly, like, say, the excavator.
That's, say, kind of incentive for us to use, to,
Right.
work with us, and the taxpayers, trying to.
I'm hoping, yeah, I'm not real optimistic on that, but I'm trying to do everything I can.
I know, and you know, we all have to try to do the best we can on that, but, if we just throw too much just out there, it's pretty easy to use it or lose it kind of a theory, but if there's incentives out there where we, opportunities, in other words, if there's something out there you really want, you have a tendency to start saying,
Well, hopefully we'll have, I know everybody wants moisture, but hopefully we'll have a mild winter, that's what I'm hoping for, so.
I wouldn't count on the way the year's been going. We may have snow by the first of October, the way the weather's starting to change now, so. Well, if we give you just total figure and let you work backwards, would that work for you? I mean, we've gotta give you some
Well, I guess,
recommendations. We've
yeah,
gotta
we
give you
kinda,
some recommendations on
yeah, we know we wanna do River Road and,
Yeah, you're talking about like personnel, commodities, contractual.
Yeah, we just wrote some figures down here, and, to give you a guideline and come up with kind of a goal of
Right.
where we were gonna be, and
basically that's what we've always done in the years past, anyway.
we have rounded figures of what's shown on there.
Oh, is it, actually, in most of the years past, I was just given a number and I was given no guidance on where the cuts were supposed to be, and, you know, I did my best.
Yeah, I think like personnel services were about 500,000.
And that's easy, I think you could even say that would be no problem to meet even with, if we do figure in an increase on the others, because, in 45 figures, the savings on a half-time operator, and if we don't fill the other positions at least halfway through, or, well, actually, yeah.
And actually, next spring, I might look at, even instead of hiring a person full-time, we might, you know, we usually hire 2 part-time people, we might be able to hire, you know, possibly 3 part-time people, and then the next winter.
Then we'll reevaluate.
Right.
Well, that's my thinking, that could save us, you had budgeted about almost 530,
Mm-hmm.
and we could get that down to 500 by going to halftime, dozer operator, and not filling the other position till at least mid-year, if not.
Right.
And if you don't fill it, then you're gonna save probably another 15,000 once, then we can revolve into the special, if that happens.
Yeah.
But I still think we're a little high on the commodities, and, if we go ahead and, you know, probably to be safe, we can have the full 40-mile chip and seal, and we don't have any bridge things, then you will get back to 40 miles.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we were thinking 61, 67 on that. You have your paper in front of you.
Yeah. All right.
And then River Road's 176.
167 on the fines,
Yeah.
and what, you was figuring 500 on the personal services?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then on the contractual, what you're saying?
Well, River Road, 176.
Yeah.
And we're figuring hay guys, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's got other stuff in contractual too, he's got like
Yeah.
utilities, other stuff too.
So you wanna cut out the 230, FAS 230 bridge west of Sharon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We about have to right now.
Alright.
But that, here again, if that happens, come back in August, that's when we may have to alter how much chip and seal we do.
Mm-hmm.
get you a dump truck and then, actually get a little bit of cushion there if we needed to revolve it into, for the next year, to
You said on capital outlay, 25 bucks?
be 200, right?
Yeah, deal over 200,000. So total budget of $2,550,000. So get incentive to get bids out on commodities.
Yeah, that's my job to save the county all the money we can.
Yeah, you got your solid waste.
Yeah. Like switch gears here.
What your capital improvement fund, is that what's built up over from selling scrap iron and stuff? Where does that money go?
Yes, it goes into the
County general capital.
county general capital outlay.
154 account in solid waste.
Are we moving solid waste into general?
And you with the,
Yeah. I mean, as far as like the sales tax. But solid waste is in its own fund.
because of the sales tax.
It just could go, could be a line item revenue.
What do we, does it say what we have in there right now?
I think it's a little over 60,000.
I think we decided that would go to, any, equipment upgrades out there.
Maybe a few of those over the next couple of years.
It was gonna go to what, I'm sorry, I think you said.
Equipment.
Equipment,
Yeah. I don't know, I had talked about, we have a contract with Martin right now to haul our, roll-offs. I think, we'd probably save some money if we bought our own roll-off truck and do that ourselves.
You see there's an auction in Green Acres, and I saw that.
I saw that. It doesn't look like a real good truck to me, but I did see that. And there's
It's
quite a
a
few
roll-off.
roll-offs too, yeah.
And trailers that could possibly be utilized in the recycling endeavors. Maybe worth inquiring to see if they can sell something for it.
Yeah, I can,
You're at 63.5 on the capital improvement in solid waste, and then there's a July. Okay, are you pretty happy, I mean, for the most part, do you feel comfortable with those numbers, because that is a pretty good decrease in.
the numbers I have right here is what I think it'll cost without any other upgrades. I know we talked about, scales and, moving, household hazardous waste out there. None of that is included in that budget.
Yeah, if we could use some, if we could use capital improvement, we had to move a building out there, could you use some of that money to put a building out there for that household hazardous waste?
I've got figured around 5,000.
Right, so what I'm saying is we got 63 in the account, you could take 5 out of solid waste capital improvement fund to do that. So we're covered on that, I'm not worried about that. You're basically, you're not quite 100,000 under what last year's projected was, but my only other suggestion to consider is that, you know, the study said that we
And I don't know how that guy came up with that. He was out there about 15 or 20 minutes one day. I really don't know how he came up with that. But,
Well, I realize you're running 6 days, I mean, I realize it's gonna take some scheduling as far as that goes, but, at the same time, it would, you know, I've had some people that they thought maybe we could run it for that, and I don't, you know, I'm not, you know, you got an office person, I mean, one of these other people in there, because I'm sure Stacy's only there 5 days a week, I mean, they're more than 5 days a week.
Right.
And are the hours, are they 8, what are the hours? 8 to
8 to 4.
8 to 4, so.
They actually work 8 to 4:30. Dumping hours are 8 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, well, I know in the study that was the office personnel, they had suggested having that person also work and do stuff. I mean, is there, the role of what she does right now, I mean, is there some stuff that Terry can do and have somebody that can't do some of the office stuff?
I don't know. I don't know what else I don't know how much more is gonna be involved in this,
You're gonna have some time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some time, because I
hate to do anything before we dive into this, recycling for a while, because I don't know how much more is gonna be involved in that.
Well, the only thing I was worried about was on the capital outlay, as far as, because we don't know, we got a little bit in there now. 63,000 doesn't carry very far in the world of improvements that starts picking up.
So Effingham's 8 to 4:32,
Yes.
so 2 days.
Yes.
We got
2, 3.
If we send a guy out to Effingham on Wednesday, that would be another day we only have 2 people, working, and,
well, I was told Wednesday was one of the lighter days,
actually, Thursdays, I'm pretty sure right now, Wednesday, and Atchison. Wednesday, I believe all our roll-offs come in, or most of them come in right now. And trash is kind of it's not a time sheet, you know, some days allow it. It's not individuals that vary so much. They don't come in on any given sort of day.
What's, I don't know what I got here, but I noticed one of the reports, that showed that, was it from June through July, there was 10 loads at the lake hauled off and only 8 in Effingham.
Why is that? I guess I didn't pay attention to that.
Right, well, I don't know what it. I remember seeing a report that, I think it was just during, it may have been from Chase, that, or you guys.
Yeah, I think that was brought up before, that there was more haul from the lake than there was from Effingham.
Yeah, where did we see that? That wasn't.
There's 10 loads hauled off the lake. And,
Was that just for Martin's building?
yes,
Probably.
it probably come through, probably some of you guys is confined with that, solid waste.
I don't think I knew that. When I heard you, that was the first I had heard that. So it must, maybe it was from reviewing the bill, paying Martin's bill.
It could have been. All I know is it's about, because we actually pay a little more for some reason, Effingham. Are they bigger container, or what's the reason? Because
Yeah, they're bigger.
They're a little bigger.
I believe the roll-offs at Effingham are 40 yards, and I think the one over like are 30 yards.
You end up, I mean, the dollar amount.
Which I don't know why it would really make a difference.
They're hauling truck, that's the thing.
That's your political decision, I guess.
But I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
about
we can-
possibly doing something with, you know, hauling our own roll-offs too at some point, which would probably save us significant.
Yeah, we could put a dumpster at the lake house, and they could put the trash from the lake in that dumpster and have it isolated where just the people, the caretaker out there could use it, they're right by their
Or
house.
if you're using the lake,
Yeah,
for trash.
but that's gonna be,
Well, yeah.
that's gonna be you guys' decision, I guess.
Well, my conscience tells me, from a political standpoint, it could be not popular per se, but at the same time, as we discussed, is it fair to have one there and all these other people are driving so far? And I have never heard of 24/7 trash. So I mean, I think we got a lot of dilemmas there, and I guess the thing I look at it is we can probably find out how much out of county trash we got if you close that up, and we gain, we only gain half the amount of Effingham. We know that we're getting half of out of county, and that justifies, to me, it justifies it now. If we pick up almost the same volume at Effingham, then maybe we're not, But here again, we're back to the same argument. Are we gonna start posting these, so that people, everywhere else has it? I'm quite sure it's put there for the idea of just mainly so that the lake people have a place to dump their trash, and it's become a real convenience for a lot of people. But, proximity where I live, it's just as close for me to get to Effingham as it is up there. I mean, it's just a better road. It's not easily accessible. Idea that you can do it 24/7.
Well, if we do the recycling, I assume that we could put receptacles out there, or that, we were just talking about that upcoming auction. I mean, they have like trailers that just sit on site and they pull up with that. That would, in theory, reduce some of your trash.
Yeah, the only bad thing about that is if it's unmanned, you get nothing, maybe all kinds of junk in there and
See, that's
stuff that isn't supposed to be in there.
it puts a little bit more responsibility on our lake people too, overseeing that thing, and so.
Do we have the ability to close gates to get in and out? Do we have the ability to do that at the lake?
I don't think so, no, because those are.
It's a county road.
Yeah. Well, we can take up that, we'll take up a discussion on whether we want to do, if that would, I think the potential could save you $7,000 to $8,000, even if more trash comes to Effingham. And it may not be that much more that those containers aren't, because they're just hauling off on twice a week, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of a set deal regardless. But apparently they're hauling off whenever it's full. I mean, apparently the caretakers are calling if it's full, but otherwise they wouldn't have hauled off 10 times. That's my.
Jeff, I don't know how practical it would be, and I'm not sure whether your question was whether or not it was possible to lock up or not, but you certainly could pass a resolution setting park hours and, setting it out times that it's going to be locked midnight till 6 or something. You could certainly do that. I don't know how, looking at the setup, I don't know how easy it would be to do that, keep people from driving around the gates.
Well, people live inside of that road though. I guess they would have to have a key to get in and out. Because there are residences inside of the boundaries of the county lake. Or at least what, 2 or 3 people live in.
I wouldn't necessarily close it.
I was just curious. I didn't, so we had, there's a control factor to limit outside trash. I agree with mine. 24/7 dumping, unlimited like that, that's just not heard of.
Well, I'm sure there would be,
Especially out of county.
think necessarily eliminate trash loom there, just pile it on the ground.
That would be, yeah, that would be my first concern, but throwing it in the ditch.
Well, I mean,
It'd be, I guess, up to the sheriff's
And that's a
prosecution.
violation, yeah. Illegal dumping would be prosecutable.
I don't think in county limits, I think it would end up being the out of county.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
I do too.
Because we're neighboring a county that has tipping fees, and that's the reason it's convenient for them right now, is that they could dump there. So, I know some of them would argue, well, if it's, well, I understand, if we go to the user fee, it's, that's gonna be, that is gonna be more property tax related than the sales tax, per se, how we fund solid waste. But at the same time, when you got boundaries, you got boundaries. I mean, so I got farm, a lot of my taxes go to Jackson County School District, so I mean, you'd like to be in control of that's just the way the boundaries are set up. So when you live on a boundary, why you face those. Well, I don't.
Getting back to the personnel out there, I would sure hate to do anything before we find out what we're gonna get into with this, recycling program. As far as turning down a person or a part-time person.
I think you look at that study, I think it was just mainly personal handling, clerk work. I think they were moving to that one less person, that person doing multiple roles.
But if we were to switch to the weigh station in front of the transfer station, that then becomes an essential personnel, not one of those personnel that we can do away with.
And I'm not too sure we're gonna, after we go through this a year or two, that we may not be going down that route, having the scales and weighing everything. We may come to, rather than having an actual fee, we may have that become a tipping fee, rather than become, because if we find that not a lot of people haul the trash per se, well, it becomes a staffing into a different situation. But that scale thing might save us some headaches down the road.
Right.
The way I see it. Weighing everything, so.
I was wondering why everybody smiled when, said something about the sheriff and the trash. Didn't know he's back there.
Well, okay, I think because with we can address the idea that we're talking $15,000 savings anywhere at that position, but we also could save $15,000 possibly on doing away with the dumpster.
Question, we've got 63,000 in capital outlay, and he wants to do 10, is that gonna be enough to cover, I think that's enough leeway in 2013, with the change in our system?
What was the question?
You've got about 63,000 in capital outlay now, solid waste, and you have proposed 10,000 for 2013 capital outlay. Is that gonna give us enough leeway if we, because we're gonna make some pretty big changes out there, does that give us enough leeway if we have to change something? I know we talked about one building of 5,000, but outside of that.
Yeah, if we have to change the scale or something like that, that isn't gonna cover it.
That won't be well, the
No.
10,000,
No.
we've got the capital outlay improvement.
Sufficient.
And we've got, I don't think the scrap iron's coming in quite as fast, or, I think that's a little high estimate for revenue, but we still got some of that money, coming in, so. The question is the scales we got out there, if we need to relocate, and I think those are things we just need to start looking at. We're thinking down the road a year or two, we need to have some estimates so we can do a little bit of planning. I mean, we can get by, it's a little inconvenient, if we decide that we need to start weighing anything, we're gonna have to pull on see in the 11, you would spend about 4,500 of it, so I think, to me, that's sufficient. I'm content with not making any changes to that budget, knowing that that's $90,000 less than last year.
Mhm.
I just worry about future expenses, especially capital outlay. That's what our problem is right now with most of our funds, we have set aside capital outlay each year.
No, but we have some in the capital improvement fund.
Yeah, I see that, but I'm talking about like 2013, so instead of like budgeting, say like say we get out in 2013 budget year of 2014, and all of a sudden, boom, we've got $100,000, $200,000 in improvements that we need to do to accommodate for the changes. Would it be better to disperse it over 2 years instead of?
I can't see that much, if it's gonna cost us that much to convert to this.
You have to expand the building and scales go out. That's a pretty good sum.
Another thing I'll be interested in is, after Ashton starts their recycling, I'll be real curious to see how much that cuts the recycling center, how much, product comes in there.
Well, as I'm saying, if that saves us a little on hauling, then you have a little excess room there from your contractual services, then it can be deferred. I mean, if it truly works like it's supposed to. But we don't know if the recycling picks up, or if the recycling, calling off the recycling is gonna cost us more too, so, we may not save as much as we hope, but I think there's some potential there to save.
I guess what I was saying is, I'll be curious to see if that basically shuts down
That's $18,000, we pay $18,000 plus utilities.
yeah, you might save, if we would shut down, that would save us $18,000.
It would, because recycling has to, even if you start collecting it out, transfer, we have to dispose of it somehow.
Well, what I was saying is possibly if we would shut down the recycling center here in Ashton and just move it to the,
Right.
yeah.
Right, I mean, there's gonna be a little maintenance fee out there, but there's also gonna be, somebody's gonna have to haul it off.
Right.
So, you're gonna transfer some of the costs, I mean, it's not gonna be a total $18,000, saving. But I think, the figures like, that I run, actually, based upon that study, it's a wash right now, we might as well be running recycling through the amount, if what their estimate is right.
Basically.
It's basically, we're paying them the same amount to haul recycling off as what we're paying solid waste to haul the feed, so if they're getting, which I expect to make a little something, but I mean, if they're getting anything recuperated from the recycling, they're doing pretty well. So,
But we're doing the green thing.
that's why I can sleep at night.
Saving the ecology.
There you go. Carbon footprint.
Well, I can live with it if you don't do it this way.
I prefer it a little more outlay, that's just my personal, just the fact that for future expenses. What's your input?
Yep. We need to build up capital outlay. But, there again,
Do we have any estimates for scale house?
it's gonna be on the.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah, we'll figure out, figure out what the construction
construction
cost, what the scale is gonna be, then we can start saving up.
Contributions, whatever goes out there.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a non-budgeted, but you're still,
Would we contract out for construction, or would that be in-house?
you've got
we'd
63,
have to contract.
63,000 there.
And then
52,000.
scales in the range, but.
He's budgeting 10,000, you got 34.
I mean, we can't go inroads on it, but say 180 to 100 for the scale, depending on height and weight capacity on it, and little specs on it. And the scale house, we'd have to get an estimate for that, but if we did, we could put it on a 2-year plan, so we save a third year, save a third next year, and then accordingly.
Capital waste conversion is gonna cost us less than anything, it's just a matter of moving the location is all it is. So, but to me, that's minor, you know, the scale house could be, that we don't know yet, whether we're gonna need it yet. We still got an option.
Mm.
I mean, we got a scale, it's just not convenient, you know, at all.
And it is about 1 or 2 years away from having to be replaced. It's on Class Lake, so.
What's that?
The scale out there, I think it was bought in early 80s.
Well, yeah, it was a lot on,
What's the,
one
is
of
it
the
having a
It's
problem?
never been replaced.
Is it having problems? Because it has to be adjusted, I mean, the weight's amazing.
Is that Cardinal skin?
Yeah. They both are.
You're building them. Cardinal skin.
Well, it's not so much that we're seeing problems with it working, it's just once you get close to that equipment life, it will crap out on you just all of a sudden. And then, you know, if we have no money saved up, Stacy says that it could probably last a year or two. But
What we're talking about is a scale underneath, I believe. Starting to get quite a bit of rust in it. We've had to replace a few load cells, but
Those are a few
Other-
thousand apiece, aren't they?
Um,
Replacement cost.
I can't remember. It seems like they were close to 1,000 somewhere around there a piece, but we have had to replace a few of those, but our scale man has told us that we ought to start looking ahead a little bit.
Has he given you an estimate, or have you got bids? That's what I'm saying, like, I just don't like having to budget all 1 year for a big project, if you know you're gonna replace that a couple years out. You do it, spread it out over time, that's what it,
Divert your savings of dumpster to County Lake and divert half of it or 2/3 of it to there.
but $8,000 would be very important.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better, but if you put 20,000 in there, that's a pretty good start, you know, when you got 60 of it under the camp. We don't know that, like I said. I'm just pretty content with this amount, because we done projecting, as I showed you this, I was projecting that we save some here, that's the reason I was willing to help more on road and bridge. So, there's not many of these budgets that's gonna show this much savings.
Contractual, hope that, you know, the goal would be contractual, gets in a lot lower.
It'd be nice if we had our
It is, but I mean.
had our
on
fees
the
back.
tree right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, I don't know what the,
But if you just assumed that it would be same, that's just cost savings that will, I mean, we're not budgeting out expecting any kind of cost savings, so it would be a nice surprise.
which I think that's what you've got built in, right? You're just building it off of,
I went off worst case scenario, we just sell the recyclables as trash. You know, basically.
that same cost per ton.
Yeah, that's what I figured into the budget.
So, and whatever we save for, you know, throughout 2013 can go into the 2014, which is when we're really looking at. So, but the budget expecting that to materialize is not real smart. Because we don't know for a first year program. It would just be a really great surprise if it does go off. If it does go really well, we are seeing significant cost savings, but it's not prudent to budget on that and count on it.
Well, I'm more concerned is the appeals people are gonna, that's gonna be the issue.
Well, you know, we can always go back here and do something different later on, but, you know, when do we have to have this budget published by?
25th, the other right here.
We have to have it published 10 days before that, so Wednesday we kind of, well, our deadline probably has to be today, we're getting the date by Wednesday, or, Wednesday will be again on Saturday.
The Marriott publishes Thursday.
Yeah.
The Globe Force.
No, if you publish, I'm sorry, if you approve it on Wednesday, and then get it published on Saturday, that gives you 10 days prior to the 29th, which would be the last meeting in August, if you want to meet the August deadline. And there's no penalty for going over
Correct.
a week or more, I mean, you've gone over more than that in the past, that's a requirement of statute.
So, you know, we need to make some decisions and not scenario this thing to death.
Well,
Our only thing we're going through here, so it's taking us a long time getting nothing done.
This is what I think is really been at the heart of the issue, is that we do not have anybody that does finance or accounting or help us do budgets. So it's like pretty much us on ourselves. And we started this way too late. You know, we've got to start our budgets like in May. You know, we've got to start this process much quicker. Now, we had some things that, you know, with EMS and a couple other things delayed, but we just got to start the whole process earlier. And if we can get somebody in a role that can help us doing some of this finance and budgeting issues earlier, it would take some of the pressure off of us to be able to get it done quicker. I agree with you. We need to get the bus moving. It's just, when we don't have firm bids, like on some of these budgets, you know, some of the departments just aren't submitting all the stuff that we need. I mean, if they're just throwing a dollar figure out just because they've done it for the last 5 years, doesn't help us make good decisions. You're right.
You should.
What are you thinking on this? I mean, I just got cancel this year, and $99,000 carryover cash balance to begin the year.
I say we just run this. If we get, you know, at some point we're gonna have to start looking at some of these departments, start building new capital outlay. I hate the way.
Well, I'm not arguing that, it's just,
Yeah.
we've got an option to add to that, like I said, by deleting the surface, we have to, so.
Right.
Like I said, my hand may not go real fast on the vote,
So we're talking about getting rid of the
That's
roll-off at the first of the year then?
Well, we got time, to discuss that, we're looking to see how, that to me would be the, if the option, if I was gonna add anything to capital outlay, that's what I'd say, you know, try to come rather than add necessarily new money, it's just diverting savings. And, I'll probably do a little talking to some of my constituents, I don't know how that survey will come out.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, you've got your, pretty well take care of that, for them, Ken.
So just get this straight, for the solid waste, we're running with what the figures I had. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we try to see whether Ray and maybe tomorrow evening, if just we need to get that,
Mhm.
we need to get that cleared up, because I think we still have still wondering, we have to try to get it stopped. Okay.
So you should take that.
Is it really? Did we take that? Okay. Did we go ahead and pay the, extensions?
Did we pay that at a courthouse general?
I think we did.
It seemed like we did.
So, we done?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, have a good day.
Yeah, so it's cool. Good. Please vote on that.
John?
The copy of the schedule.
I'll be right back. You want me to wait? I'll be right back. You can talk about it.
Okay.
What's happening?
Not too much for a Monday morning,
Nobody,
better than most Monday mornings. So you're all through the workshops session?
No, so a few more. Is that where you're coming? Is that who you're coming back at? But,
Yeah, I mean, I just, like I said, I hope we can get to the point, I mean, I can tell it's rushing and there's a lot, but I hope just we can get to the point, like, that if there's a problem with a budget submitted, we know where we're getting cut, instead of just at the last minute getting, this is what you're getting. So we have an opportunity to both, you know, commingle about the pros and cons and why we feel this. But the reason I really wanted to come up and get some clarification, I have not read the paper yet from Saturday, but obviously our discussion, which I thought was preliminary and not finalized, but, something was put in there about whether or not that I was gonna discontinue doing bins, or that I was considering, I don't know how it was worded.
It was
but-
a discussion,
Okay. But people,
but
you know,
there's no
people take.
decision, yeah,
But someone is impersonating a government official and making calls to I got a call from a business person this morning saying that they got a call from the Department of Revenue, was given a name. Anyway, I got the phone number, I'm looking into it, but that they wanted to know if they would be interested in taking over the bins, because I was discontinuing the bins because we wasn't funding it. Which is absolutely, I mean, I know you as chairman made a comment, I gave you a response back, and that was about it. Nothing was
and it
finalized.
was written as a preliminary discussion.
But anyway, someone is identifying themselves as with the Department of Revenue, which is not even the department that covers this. And in a nutshell, the business person told me, I know it's election year and somebody trying to start something, but she said, I'm just concerned with them saying they're with a government entity and calling, so I'm just letting you all know that, I mean, I know it's candy word preliminary, but I don't think that issue's been finalized. I don't think my issue's been finalized, what I do, because I can't make my decision till you make your decision. It's nothing that will take place till after January, and I don't make decisions like that anyway. I mean, I said what I said, but I don't make decisions without filling out the public. But like they're concerned, I'm concerned that somebody's saying they're with Department of Revenue, and but they tried to tell them details like they knew something about it, but they really didn't. Because first they identified themselves with the wrong agency, then they tried to give them numbers, which they gave them the wrong numbers. But when the person questioned them, they hung up. Just go talk to commissioners, that's what they told them. So, but I just want to make sure that you guys knew that was out there, so.
yeah, all we had was
But that's why I say those are things that I think, or at least I would like to see as an elected official that, I mean, we know what we're gonna get, we discuss it, we hash it out, and we know when we go in, and if you need to cut up more, you call us back and say, hey, you're not gonna get this, or we're gonna cut this, or whatever, but it's just like same way we can put in there something about it. Previously, I had 3 elderly persons call me and want to apply
Well, that
for
was
it.
written as
And
discussion too.
I said, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things that depend on,
Mhm.
and I said, nothing definitely is gonna happen until after January, but I said, it's real preliminary. So,
Yeah, all we
it's
ever,
good they know that, I guess it's good they know what's going on in the budget, but they should, I mean, they're just jumping to conclusions that just because it's discussed that it's done. Or not done, whatever.
I think people realize how slow government works.
Yeah, and we work a lot faster than state or federal government, but yeah.
yeah, and all we had were discussions before. I think what we were looking at were the VIN officer and courthouse security. I think were the two ones we were
Two big
talking
things
about.
we need to discuss and finalize decisions on, but
It's written as.
to me, until the budget's approved, it's not really finalized one way or another. We can discuss it.
And you cut down to 3 days a week to go to VIN inspections, is that right?
We used to do it 5 days a week. We are now doing it 3 days a week, and I'm just trying, when I do the math on it, it would not cost us anymore, because within the last year, we went up, they've increased it. I mean, we used to make $850 a year, July 1st or June 30th of 2011, we was making $8.50 a min. Now, as of today, we're making $18.50 a min, which goes from $850 a month revenue to $1,850 revenue on the average.
Mm-hmm.
And if I paid somebody at the rate of $10 an hour, we're still money ahead of where we were, you know, a year ago, June 30th, because they've increased it so much over the last year. That's the way I looked at it, and, I mean, we've been functioning, but there's just, I think that the gals need to, I mean, there's several processes, the judges will tell you there's several processes that has to be done daily, it has to be kept up on, the mandatory reports that have to go to the state, and it's just, to me, it would make more sense to let the girls concentrate on what they really should be doing, and just pay somebody a small wage and not any benefits, and let them just concentrate on doing bins.
So like other days, so they have an 8-hour work day, like, just say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a VIN, out of those 8 hours on a Monday, how much of those hours are they actually spending on doing VIN inspections?
It really varies. Like I said, they may do 15 in a day, and it can take 10 to 15 minutes depending on how busy they are. They may do 4 one morning and 15 in the afternoon. They may do 2 in one morning, so that's the other thing I have to think about is, but to be quite honest, I probably wouldn't work them 24 hours because looking at the policy, we'd have to pay them benefits, and I don't want to pay them benefits. And so I would probably still have the girls do it probably at least a half a day of those 3 days a week, so I could keep the hours under 20, so I didn't have to pay benefits, because that's an added cost too. But I'm just thinking the busier times, having someone available that didn't. Monday mornings are real bad because that's payroll day, so Missy pretty much spends at least half her day on every other Monday doing payroll to try and get it turned in time. And then Monday afternoons are court days. Fridays are usually busy because a lot of people try to come in and get their tags before the weekend, and that's their payday. So Wednesday would probably be the day that I would have the girls still do it 4 hours out of the day or something, so I didn't have to pay somebody benefits, but it's more of an efficiency. Could we make it? Yes, but it's just to improve the efficiency of what the girls' work getting done. and it wouldn't cost any more money, 'cause
So like this year, we're doing 5 days a week?
no, we're doing 3 days a week.
Okay. When did you cut back to 3 days a week?
Well, it's probably been 4 years now, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Leavenworth, the other thing that hurts, I mean, what we do, I think we may do more than Leavenworth, but Leavenworth only does it 1 day a week. I think Brown County does it 1 day a week. Doniphan County, I'm thinking 1 day a week. And I think most of them have the highway patrol come up here and do it, they just come up and do it. But I don't think they don't have enough manpower to do any more than a day a week in each jurisdiction, I don't think. Yeah, but I'll
I
have to
think
read it.
it's service to the community to do it 3 days a week, and, you know,
Well,
that's the ones we have to satisfy, the personnel of the county.
it's just nice, when we get a lot of comments from Leavenworth County, but, you know, they're glad we do it because they have to wait till the next week. There are a lot of procrastinators that just wait till the last minute and then can't get it done. They have to have bin inspection done before they get their tag.
So it's a $20 effective, or we now at $20, is that starts first of the year?
As of July 1,
July 1.
$20. So, and again, we get $18.50 of that. $1.50 goes to the highway patrol.
What's the line item? What's the line item on that for revenue?
You should have it in there somewhere. I'll give you my revenue sheet, I think somewhere attached to the budget. It's under VIN.
Then officer, you got $12,480. 24 hours a week,
Yeah.
$10 an hour.
And that's again, after taking more of that, I would probably have, if I did, reduce it so I didn't have to pay benefits, because I think we have to pay part-time benefits at over 20 hours, so. That's why I said I'd probably have to have to. Did you find it on there, Dick?
Yeah, I found it on this one, I'm trying to find it on our general.
It's in the general, county general.
Yeah, it's under county general, it doesn't go into law enforcement, it goes into county general. That's the other thing with the log sheriffs, but I've never cared where my money went, as long as I get funded from my budget. There's a lot of sheriffs that won't do it unless it goes into their law enforcement fund, and then they spend it on whatever they choose. And if the commissioners don't allow them to do it, then they just don't do it.
Do you know what the name of the line item is for it? Is sheriff vehicle?
It should be in there. Yeah, sheriff's vehicle inspection. 214,014.
Block, is it? Last night.
So you're the same.
So from a funding portion, I mean, we're more than paying for it if we hire somebody, but at the same point, we have been doing it 3 days a week. I just said, my reason being is some of the paperwork needs to be done more efficiently. I feel that's the way we can do it, is what I.
Well, our job is to fund you what you think you need to run your office, so. I'm in favor of, non-hiring part-time person under. Paying benefits, whatever, that was.
Well, I put 24, but in reality, after thinking about it, I'd like to keep it under so I don't have to pay benefits. And I could have the girls still do it a half day a week, that's still better than what we got now.
I think it's a great service and definitely need to do it. I'm not in favor of hiring a part-time person to do it. I think that, what we're currently doing, if we had to do it 2 days a week, or I can't imagine being a whole lot of time out of each day, so I would prefer not to hire part-time persons for that job.
I probably go maybe up to 2 days, 2 part-time days on that, and then the other girls do it another day. We're gonna be adding 5, we've increased the fees by 33%. So there is some justification, it's something that we could try and see how it goes. I would want you to monitor if the paperwork gets getting,
Well,
I'd rather than jump in and do it, put that one person, that's what I'm saying, I could probably go with 2 part-time days, a week, and then let the current system do it the other day.
what about even maybe 3 4-hour days? And the reason I say that, you just gotta get the public used to it. I mean, just like we used to do it 5 days, we cut back to 3, but if you get them used to it, and then if we just had 4 hours a day, they do it was either mornings or afternoons, and everybody started coming in, that would keep that person steadily busy with events, so they're not sitting around. I mean, like I said, that was gonna be my challenge, is I don't want them sitting there doing nothing when they're not doing events.
Well, that's why I can't understand how you really think that you have 2 people that can't handle just 3 days a week of bin inspections? Does it sound like it maybe averages maybe a few a day to, so, I mean, what's like the max you've ever seen in your time, like, again, bin inspections in one day?
Probably 20 to 25 on a busy day.
How long does each one take? How long does each one take?
That's why I say it really depends, because they're answering the phone, they got people coming to the window, that's why I say if they're busy, it takes a little while, because they still got them other things they gotta do, but if there's nobody at the window, they can probably get in and out in 15 minutes, 10 minutes. You have to run a record check on them, you have to fill out the form while they're there, then you run it through dispatch, or you log in the computer and log it, make sure it's not stolen. And then you go out and inspect the vehicle, which is about a 5-7 minute job. That's about the extent of it. But it's the idea of, again, there's 2 of them, but it takes them away, and the phone ringing, and like I said, Mondays is usually horrible on payroll day, because Misty needs to really concentrate on getting payroll, and payroll's kind of a chore. It still is, even with the new software. I mean, it's just time consuming, and then, Sue's got jail stuff she has to tend to, so you got people coming in wanting to put money on the books, and so they've been doing it. Like I said, it's more of a improving the efficiency of getting things done, because it does slow them down.
What hours are the services, when people can sign up or get a time to do the bin inspections, is it 9 to 5?
pretty much 9 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
What if we did after hours when people are out of work for, say, 4 to 7, 4 to 8, we could have everybody, the concern is the work rate. If you have after hours where people get off work, you'll get people coming in, and you could easily justify getting 8 hours out of a person or 12 hours, and making it convenient to the customers. You'll get the 10 to 20 cars because it's after they get off work, so that they can do their vehicle inspections as opposed to getting time off work, which is really inconvenient.
That's assuming everybody has a job.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Here in town, I mean, the people in the country would be coming in during the day sometimes to do some other business or whatever.
Mhm.
I see pros and cons to that. The only con to that, the pro to that would be, yeah, I think it would be, a lot of people wouldn't mind. The con to it is that, if we have one that you can't find the VIN on, or someone's finagled with the VIN, then we depend on calling KHP, because they have specialists in the office that have a book where they can go and tell us, okay, it's not there, it's supposed to be there, but here's the hidden places on the engine. So, that's another one that, when you run into something like that where you can't find the VIN or it's been tampered with, then
So you,
that one can take a half hour, and we finally give up.
the inspection needs to be done during regular business hours, so if you have to call, I mean, you couldn't.
I would say the biggest percentage of it could be done after hours, but for them ones you run into, I guess you
Well, yeah.
have to come back the next day, but then again, you get somebody from the far western part of the county that comes in, you hate sick, and you come back tomorrow, or.
I didn't know whether it was 7 to 12 or something like that. That way people could do it before they went to work. Of course, you may get a big influx. I mean, if somebody's going to be late, I mean, you know,
I think the partial days make sense, and we could probably cut the hours and just do more within 4-hour period, but.
well, you know, 12 hours a week would, you know, you're up a little over 6,000. If you're figuring $10 an hour, that's a little over $6,000. So that's only a third of what you're going to be collecting with that.
If it was those scenarios again, I don't see anything wrong with that. Just get that part-time guy or whatever time you wanna do it. We're making money on it, so why worry about it?
Well, that
Get a guy that you don't have to pay benefits for.
well, you said you're going to find something else to do. I mean, if they can pick up a room or whatever, you know, maybe they're running, you know, that's not a problem if you doing that too.
Well, I am that way. I don't even want to pay somebody $10 an hour if they're sitting there in a chair visiting. That's not what I want it for. But it is a service that I feel is good to the citizens that we should continue with, and I just want to improve efficiency and what we're really getting done in the office. And that's the whole
You wouldn't
bottom
start
line.
this till next year.
My intention for it not to start till.
Well, that gives us another 4 months or so for education purposes.
Yeah, that's right.
So track it, yeah.
But I'm looking, we got some different opinions, but I mean, that's just part of the budget process. We could all come to an agreement
We don't
before we
like-
finalize it. That's what I'm here for, just to discuss it, but that's my reason behind it, and that's what I wanted to do. If we have to cut back some, you know, whatever you guys say, we'll do.
Well, if we haven't, you know, if you're looking at only a third of the revenue to hire somebody, I have no problems. You know, if it truly had efficiency and effectiveness in the rest of it. I mean, here again, that's gonna be an administrative thing for you to watch and monitor, and, you know, what we give, we can't take away.
One of the biggest things, and Pat can put his input there, but one of the biggest things is, it really is a concern of mine because it does the civil process as a statutory duty, and my guys do it, but that's
Your guys not
something.
do it, they do a great job of it. We can send a subpoena in on Monday, and we'll usually get served on Monday or Tuesday morning. And
served better than a lot of other counties around, but the process where it goes back and then has to get processed and receipted in and back over to the courts is where there's a delay sometimes.
And there's no question it's better. If it's in Leavenworth, we don't even bother sending it to the sheriff, or we hire a processor, because it's a total waste of time and money to send it to the sheriff. But, he has good tremendous job of getting things served. Yeah, I would say a really good job of getting paperwork back. It's still better. I don't need to be critical of it. You do a good job of that. But it's not as good as the processor. It's good.
And I've had a meeting, I've had several meetings with judges on what we can do on both ends to try and get it, expedite that, but like I said, it's not horrible, that's the whole reason why. Alright, well, you guys, you'll feel that, I
Still don't
guess.
know what you're gonna do.
No, I know, but I'm just hoping you guys can discuss it, let me know.
Well, I think you've got your tools that support some part-time. I mean, I think that's, some, I don't have any problems as long as we just, don't make it a full, deal. I mean, 2 halves or 3 half days is, I think, very sufficient.
And I think that would, like I said, the thing is, you just get people used to the change. I feel for 3 half days, because I think that would keep somebody busy, bang, 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 all the time, and I wouldn't have to worry about who I hire. I mean,
It's better than that work, it's just 1 day, but that way you've got 3 different options.
and while we're at, I think the only other thing, unless you guys on my budget found something else that you want to discuss, is court security. And to be honest, I'm not going to throw a fit. I don't care what way we go, but I'm just doing the wishes of the judges and the personnel in the courthouse. And Jeff mentioned bailiff, which I talked to Judge Asher.
Yeah.
But Judge Asher said, well, how do they define bailiff? And I said, I don't know. I'm just saying that's kind of what was brought up. And a bailiff is nice to have in court. I think that would be an added thing for them. But a bailiff is usually not armed, and it doesn't satisfy the needs of the other personnel over there, what they want is security. And I'm talking mainly, the big complaint comes from the court services officers. And that's why Tom White has been involved. And a bailiff's not going to help them out any. And a bailiff's not going to carry a weapon or, they're going to be there basically, I don't know. What's the bailiff done in the past here? They pretty much tend to the jurors.
Bob Scott was the last bailiff we had, Bob. Yeah, mostly tends to the jurors, and on docket days, there's a lot of times somebody will show up and say, my case is set for today, and he would go to the clerk's office and get it and that sort of thing. I would say the bailiff is kind of a luxury if they're really operating as a court, as a service to the court and to the clerk. And one that we can, I think, probably get away with not having. We have that for several years. I think having an officer there, at least during criminal jury trials and during the dockets, would be a tremendous step in that direction.
Well, I think those people that work up on the 4th floor up there,
Yeah.
they have no warning if anybody's coming up there, up the steps, and they have no place to go, if there is somebody coming, so they need a little bit of warning to maybe get down the steps and out of harm's way.
Yeah, that's true.
I know that some of them girls up there really get excited when somebody
address in the future.
Just tell her I'll be down and,
That's something I'll probably address in the future.
but I mean,
Top story people, it's just the layout of the courthouse.
there's no one officer gonna deter anything serious from happening, I've always said that. However, I think from a comfort level and a deterrent level that it would help, but to be quite honest, I just, before you make a decision on that, I would once again talk to the judges and Tom Weiser. I'll live with whatever you guys decide, 'cause
Yeah, I'm surprised they would come back up. I thought they were gonna come back up at least over time.
I can sure talk to them. We had, they may have been waiting for an invite, I don't know.
Okay.
But I can sure ask them today, court this afternoon.
We did get some input.
So, I mean, those are the two issues that, I mean, really new in my budget, so if there's anything else you find you want to discuss, holler at me.
You know, it might keep us out of a lawsuit too. You know, if somebody goes up there and gets, hurt somebody, we could have a lawsuit for not having a warning system, something in place.
Okay. Sure. We've had this discussion for about 5 years on court security, but
What about a reinforced door and choke point?
Yeah, well, there's been several recommendations on how to, number one, we've got multiple entrances and exits.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that will get shut down.
yeah, there's some things we can do there. There's also some historical aspects to what you can do to entrances, exits, doors.
I'm guessing that probably security trumps historical on some things with some doors would be my guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Oh,
Well, I mean, it's up to you guys, chase and start flooding when we can, but, yeah, I think we shouldn't take as long, we can, like Pauline here, we can do her action, on the clerk, because there's not much in that, but do we want to just, what do we finally decide on, do we want to do increase the I would, what we think we left $5
wages, we'd like to keep that at 3%.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm content with everything else.
And do we have a plan on elections? I know there's about 21 counties now that are going to all electronic. Do we have a plan to roll into, out of the optical to, and ballots to the electronic systems, or we're trying some out in precincts?
Possibly, I mean, we could. I mean, instead of the one, like the auto market is one of them that they can,
Yeah, 'cause I know that there's quite a few that have gone to that type of system that are.
I know that works there, they might compete, but the rest of them are either precinct counters with the auto market.
Is that what we do? Right, yeah. Is that what the optical scan, is that what they, optical scan, is that what they call it?
And one time they went out down.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you still have to, even with the electronic where you push the buttons, you still have to have paper ballots at your precincts because of provisional, or if somebody doesn't want them, then you have to have a paper ballot.
They'll probably cut down on quite a few, I would assume, wouldn't it?
And we have to, what this costs.
Maybe something to look into for the future.
And it might be something a little down the future, whenever these are, if it's not like, you know, computers or that you have to replace them, it might be something to think about.
I don't really have any major questions or problems with the proposed.
What if, now this, we do this in the future?
Oh, okay, well, that would be a new hire that we have to lower that.
Or attrition.
Right. So we'd have to, I mean, it doesn't be a significant difference. Well, yeah, you may, one of these may get bumped up and eventually may not really have enough savings. People to do higher, so. I don't think there's enough there.
One question, if we hire.
Well,
That's a question.
that'd be, I think that's a discussion that needs to be,
At that time.
well, now.
If, one question on personnel, if you theoretically lose one of your office staff members, do you plan on rehiring for that position?
Well, I've discussed, I mean, since Shirley's running, I've discussed with her, and if she does give in, we discussed maybe, I only need a part-time person, so maybe she's only need a part-time person. And that person would do the same thing, you know, like the transferring of these.
So you'd share.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, the only time I really need expert is presidential, or presidential, or those kind of elections. Those are really busy, put them in, so, you know. So,
Well, I think,
maybe a part-time would be all I would actually. But that's,
Yeah, I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it is, I'm just asking that question now, just so.
and I mean, let's cut down on, you know, now.
well, I think we want to set that, if we were thinking even in that regard, you know. We better think regardless of, because we could then, if they think they can do that, well then, regardless of whether, she changes offices, then you just instruct the register, needs to be part-time. And then we budget this for part-time, and they'll have to make that transition based on budget. Does that make sense? So with that in mind, you would probably somewhere around, you would cut personal services by 14,000.
1460.
Talking minor,
Well, yeah, if you're kind of content with that, regardless of the outcome, we still could make that transition based on budgeting. When we budget the register of deeds, we would budget instead of 3 full-time, it would be 2.5, and then that.
So what happens if she doesn't? Will that?
Well, that would still, then we'd have to, the register of deeds office, and you would have to work out one of your present employees would have to be part, you know, they'd have to work out in each way. Is that, I mean, because that fits the same scenario, I understand what you're saying, if she leaves, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, she's my deputy, so we have to, I still need a deputy. I mean, when she left, I still need a full-time deputy, but whoever I hire.
Would your deputy election officer just become, did you have like one deputy election and clerk?
Probably. But I'm usually, if she gets it, then I would just hire a part-time, which would be a lesson, but I would have to.
Right, but you're gonna have to move somebody else up to be your deputy clerk.
Right.
Well, and that's all we're
But if
just
she
saying.
doesn't lose, then she's still my deputy.
She's still your deputy, but then one of your other employees or her, will have, you know, I guess is what we're saying is, we would split the difference, because we would, I think what you're thinking is at the register of deeds, we would, in their budget, we would budget instead of 3 full-time, it'd be budgeted for 2.5. So if they wanted, they would have to. but that's gonna be one of them that other thing gets going, that they may, United may make it, that up in future years,
Mm-hmm.
so.
It's not too bad.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yep.
I happened to talk to Bill Murphy the other night, and it was just come up, he's on the board that oversees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was very, thought it was one of the more effective programs that they were, so.
Not maintenance, we never did go over maintenance.
No, but that
It was
shouldn't
pretty
be
good.
too hard.
No, yeah, 'cause it was just building in stuff for capital improvements, pretty much all of it.
Yeah, he didn't do anything on his.
I wonder if they ever got anything going with cleaning for the, what's going for, health department?
What is Joe? He gone?
I think so. I think he's been with me. She back.
I think all we have to do is take 12,000 off salaries.
You're on, Dean's.
Yeah, I did have, it appears to me on past history that commodities and contractual services are way overbid.
Yeah, I saw that too. About 2,000 to 3,000 seems about average on commodities.
I had 3 budgeted for commodities and 35 for contractual. This would be 80 or 72, 90. That's the figure I get. Take 12, so she had salary increase base.
Mm-hmm.
And this, that's, going back and look at past history, it's, I think that we've used 3 here, they've already used 2 here, so. I've got, I'm okay with that.
Register of deeds budget. Salaries, salaries we're looking at,
2.5 positions.
yeah, going to 2.5 positions, so deeds, deputy deeds, and then, half-time kid share with the clerk's office. We put the salaries down to 72,590 total in that department.
That does include the 3%.
Yeah, and that goes to 3% raise. And then commodities went closer to about 3,000 for the last couple of years. She has budgeted 5, and then down below, contractual, 3,500 be closer to what? Yeah.
Well, I checked the past history, and it never has gone over.
Yeah, and that's been flatlined at 5 for a while.
So that's total,
7909.
79.
Do we need to change something in the work protection, something we should, you have something for us?
Just the final walk right now, I guess.
Alright.
Is there anything else you needed, or do we at another time? Because I know we have our song for 3 o'clock.
You have some numbers for him to plug in now.
That's it?
That is it.
Okay.
Oh, is this you got your presentation, you got, okay.
Then you're right.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't ask Trey, he was still
Yeah,
on,
okay.
I should probably call him.
Would be much more.
Well, let's do general maintenance, I don't think we need.
That's next week,
that one.
it's my
Yeah.
presentation for, but I have a Rotary Club presentation to make, I have to prepare for it.
And then, one other thing, we were just discussing, we're gonna do the more hall, and we were gonna do it like we did on the elevator program, we can just, would that be our recommendation?
You know anything about,
One thing I really like to stick on the bigger projects,
the,
police.
Well, if it's even bigger than that, I have,
The one you were.
Like to work bigger than.
yeah.
The elevator.
Ryan wrote
was just under
This is, anything scheduled?
Yeah.
We talked about it, we'll start planning as a half.
We could, yeah. could just
Okay, the
take
question,
the-
the other question is,
So, he's in detention, I think,
yeah,
it's over here, not there.
you know, do we
Does
include, if you
part
go
of
there,
the,
then I'd be.
Does what?
does Brandon need to show up for that? For that?
He the other guy was
He's the guy that owns the truck,
But,
that guy, the short.
It must be a different truck, you saw an ass.
I thought that was involved.
Oh, that's the truck that he ran into, okay.
That's the other.
Okay, cause,
Yeah.
it's a Reno.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, truck.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so,
We have a meeting on Thursday, no, he doesn't do the shop for that, I would be really shocked if we did have that.
I started out with Karen out there,
He tried to say,
you want 53. can you
Yeah,
try
that's
to-
for sure, or would you do something more?
yeah, not the whole,
There's a lot of
they have to go out and,
Yeah.
for,
Tom, what do you think on the
they
mayor
have a crack
hall?
felony, so it's.
You know,
Oh, wow.
the committee wants to
If you're over 16 and.
give them about 20 to.
Well, if I give them half of it,
35.
and challenge them to come up with the other half.
Yep.
They want 50,000, we got the whole rental, we got the whole rental project to get out.
Yeah.
Good.
I think we can absorb
Stay up to
25,000,
for any of
or,
that.
you know, or 30, whatever.
He does have a,
And throw the carrot out there, and let them.
There's a car.
Yeah, cause I don't think they should have to do it,
And,
but I mean, I think
he's
we
gotta
can
try to
open
figure
it
out
up
what
and
he
it's
can
all
do
what.
for the permanent replacement.
They don't necessarily.
Well, the only thing is, you know, that brick,
He did.
that brick project, they got some
Mhm.
people.
Right.
The moisture.
But the other one, I doubt it's gonna be covered, because it's not permissive use, that's the only thing.
Right.
If I loan you my car, you're covered.
You see the moisture in the street,
Exactly.
you know, it's got a lot of.
And that whole
It was
other car
Texas
situation
was
is
included on the windows.
unfortunate.
And that's gonna be a separate project.
But
Yeah.
we're kind of in our phone now,
Just
because
fixing the
he's a
Windows.
student and
Yeah, they're making
wants
one
to talk
section
to
around
you
that they
about
do.
the
Obviously, we
internship and coaching stuff, and they want him to be a graduate.
Yeah,
Or
sure.
something. Well, it was break.
Maybe we need clarification, because that includes.
Right.
It was,
I didn't know it was,
I don't think it's in part.
the ground.
Goes into it.
Ground.
Yeah, the sidewalks, redesign the whole front.
Improve if you do it yourself.
Okay, yeah, if that don't,
I'd say 25-30.
I'd be content with that, just, let them come up with we could commit that much, but they would, have to do the rest of it.
Colleen, do you know on the Memorial Hall trustees, they have their director, whoever's the director of the Memorial Hall trustees gets paid like $8,600, and then they pay their treasurer. It's on their budget. I thought it was like a voluntary board. I know there's some statutes on appointments and stuff, but I'm trying to figure out why they're getting paid and what they're doing. I guess that's just.
Maybe that's something you need to, instead of giving them the money, keep it and let them do the bill. I don't know. Maybe Pat can look at it.
I don't know who the president is.
I don't know who it is, but it's on their budget.
Well, Dick Locke is, they're not, Dick Locke is one, Leonard Guzman, and then Larry Curtis.
Yeah, we just appointed Larry.
So that's just the three.
But who's the president?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
If we're writing the check to us, we're just writing the check to the,
we're not writing,
You're
we're
right,
giving
I'm
them the
sorry.
money.
Last year we gave them $30,480. And their expenditures list director at $8,500.
I have a feeling Cleta Nolte is the secretary probably.
I think it's, somebody said it was, why do we have the record? No, the treasurer.
He's the treasurer, he's in the Memorial, he's
Well, that's
the
what I mean,
secretary.
why don't you, can we keep the money and just pay the bill, pay the bill for that?
well, I know there's a specific, there are like 3 specific statutes on that law, I have to look it up, but I don't know why we couldn't. Off the top of my head, but I'll look it up.
I'm just trying to figure out why we're paying a director $8,500.
And how much is the secretary?
600.
How many times do they meet?
I thought maybe a couple, but I couldn't verify that. I thought it only maybe a couple times. Maybe 4? I don't know if they meet quarterly or.
And so why are we paying for soft drinks?
That's a good question.
Soft drinks?
Just said soft drinks.
Can I get a copy of the budget?
$814, huh?
Can I get a copy of the budget? Actually, I can just take a picture of it.
Oh. Where do you want it?
I think
They sell it, they show a $2,000.
We basically own the building. I mean, that's what. we're the landlord.
Well, that, yeah, I know, but I mean, just to use the building.
What's that?
We did that roof, that wasn't too terribly long ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a few years back, wasn't it?
Well, I'm looking for, I want to take a tour here, but if that building is that secure and we put that much money in it, then we need to be looking at using it for some other, whether it be office space or something, because it's a good location, you know, down.
We use that for election polling place, but not in the summer.
Yeah.
You have to have a place where it would be air conditioned or something like that.
Well, I know that, the Lime State's having to move their gymnastics stuff out of the middle school gym, because they're getting ready to redo all that. Yeah, the middle school right next to us, but, they inquired about if they could use some of the space, which, you know, if it's truly a community use, I mean, we should be looking at all of our options.
So security used to, be down there. We used to have an office. Social Security, a guy from Social Security used to come down.
I heard that.
Yeah, I don't know who the director or secretary is, that I can just look individually.
Scott Harrison, Secretary Treasurer.
Probably her, what's it?
Well, maybe. Don't think you're contributing any more than we have in the past.
Hmm.
I think the question, two things is see what the Rounds Project Committee,
Mm-hmm.
whether we make a proposal to a challenge, and then how are we gonna fund, are we just gonna take this, it's gonna take close to $140,000 our share to do the windows and levels, or we're gonna spread it out over 3 years and then take a one-time hit. I have, either way,
Mm-hmm.
that's not that, I mean, it is, that's one mill, is what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. I say just take one, that's just me, that's what I prefer.
Take it and get over with.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're having another bigger, I don't know what future, you know, revenue streams, and I don't know what other future projects we'll have, but I know we're gonna have bigger
Well,
things with the
we've
ambulance.
had, yeah, I'd rather spread them out, but,
Yeah, that's fine, of course.
we've made some other savings here. To help offset some of that, so.
For Cook County Attorney, I'm fine with what you submitted.
I'm not ready to do that. I still got a couple of things.
You do? Oh, I'm sorry.
They're not really big. A 5-minute executive session on attorney-client.
Okay.
I want you to know that. Go like this.
I can leave.
Phil and I filed a claim and we were covering KTM, the Kansas Human Rights Commission, the EEOC, and KTM is covering it. We do have that worked out. KTM has acknowledged coverage and they are defending that claim. Infill recycling, we updated.
Oh, yeah.
What was different was the name and the address we would have, so. You guys approve that, or you want to consider it now, or you want to take that from the second?
Go ahead and sign it, that
needs one signature two places.
Yeah.
One is to acknowledge that it's in keeping with your solid waste plan, and the other is to make finding that it's compatible with surrounding